Welcome to the Seer Show. Join us as we dive into the dynamic world of health, wellness, mindset, and fitness with the unparalleled guidance of lifelong knowledge seekers, Sifu Rafael and Nikki Gangemi. Sifu and Nikki will unlock groundbreaking insights with extraordinary guests from around the globe. You'll get the latest holistic approaches to well-being with a sharp focus on the powerful connection between mind, body, and soul. Get ready to take the leap. It's time to embrace a brighter and healthier future with us at the Seer Show.
Good morning, Nikki. How are you today?
Good morning, Sifu. I am excellent. And how are you?
You know my answer. Exceptional and getting better every day.
I never know the day you'll have a different answer, so I ask.
Are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Probably never.
Oh, okay. I won't get my hopes up then.
No, but think about it. How much can I get better than exceptional? Unless a new word comes up, I'm going to stick with that for now.
I love it. I love exceptional.
And we have an exceptional human being that's about to join us. So let's go ahead and bring Laura Armstrong. Laura, good morning. How are you?
I am awesome. I am picking up $100 bills. How are you guys?
Ooh.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
That's original. Love that.
I don't want to ask what you were doing prior for you to pick them up.
We'll just let the audience imagine that. Yeah.
I know, right? Can you imagine? There's Laura. But is it a 200, 300, several thousand $100 bills? So.
Oh, yeah, it's thousands. I was talking to this guy, he's a billionaire, and I asked him, he's like, yeah, I'm picking up $100 bills. I'm like, well, what? He goes, that's what I do every day. I'm like, I want to do that every day. Right?
Yes. I was just looking down to see if there was any on my feet, but
I know, right?
I was just going to say, yesterday when I was walking in the parking lot to go into the gym, I looked down and there was a quarter on the ground, but no $100 bill.
Love it.
So I have something here, right? And could you see what that is? That is a penny. A penny. And a lot of people will do exactly what you just said, Nikki, and they'll see something that doesn't mean much, and they'll walk over it.
That's what I did. I walked over the quarter.
No, I pick up, if it doesn't matter if it's a penny or if it's a quarter, because for me, everything is a gift. That's right. Someone presented me gift of a penny. And if I refuse it, I'm probably going to step over bigger amounts. And for me, I learned a long time ago, I don't care if somebody even laughs at me that I'm picking up money. They'll say, what are you, broke? What are you, you can't afford a penny? That's it. I said, I'm good. I said, because it's a gift. And anytime I get a penny or anything into my bank account, I say, thank you, God, for I am getting richer with every gift that I get. So I thought I'd share that as well.
I love that. And I normally pick these coins up because I know that. And I was FaceTiming with my 3-year-old nephew and I looked down and it was an exceptionally dirty looking quarter. And I thought, I don't want to get that on my finger. So I walked over it. But I won't do that anymore. I love what you just shared. Dirty or not,
Yeah.
it's a sign of wealth. So
Let me share you another story, right? My ex-wife owned a liquor store, and she would have regulars. Some of those regulars, unfortunately, lived down the street. And sometimes she would have to take money from them that they took out of their dirty sock. And they smelled
Yikes.
terrible.
mm,
Mm.
And she would be upset and she would take the money. So I had her reframe her state of mind. I said to her, congratulations on taking the money. But what you should do is take it happily because you can always wash your hands. So
that's right. I love
think
that
about
story. Thank you.
think about but it truly was pretty gross because I saw sometimes I sometimes can help her in the store and I would see these people come in and dig from there and they were this crumbled up couple of bucks and I said to her there's two choices you can have in your life. You can continue serving people uh, and knowing that what you're giving them is going to hurt them. You can get a different thing. Eventually, she sold the liquor store, and she worked for me. But but then she didn't feel bad about collecting money anymore, right?
That's
But we
important.
have to do is wherever we make the money, if our heart is in the right place and we're serving the right way, then there should be no shame. Laura, you're thinking, I can tell, I can tell. Talk
Yeah,
to us about the wealth that we need to accumulate daily.
I think that a lot of the time when it comes to wealth, first of all, we're really good at creating narratives in our head and believing them. So first of all, we're experts at it. So I think really just changing the narrative is the key. But I think also that money in general has a lot of shame attached to it, especially if you love money and you have a good relationship with it and you are successful with it and you own. I always talk to people like, do you remember the first time that you fell in love, what that felt like? And that feeling of like being tongue tied around that person and the butterflies. And this is the type of relationship we should have with money, that it's so positive that the impact we make just happens. We don't even have to work at it. And the connection and the growth for ourselves and the others around us. And so it's shifting the dynamic around that and tapping into your intuition about that. Like all of these things are involved in that, but it starts with you falling in love with money again. And you were in love
Mm.
with it at some point in your life. So what happened, right? And I know for me, it was my mom and her mindset, and that was pretty crappy. It was like, well, honey, money doesn't grow on trees. And I owned that for a long time until I decided to shift, and because of circumstances and things that came up. And I've got a couple acres out back, right, of money trees. Like, I'm good to go, Mom. If you don't want me, yeah, So that's a big part of our mindset around not just money, but wealth and the other things that we value in our lives.
Well, I love money so much that every so often I take it out to dinner. But what winds up happening
Right?
is that if I want to love money even more, I have to share it. So I have to give it away, right? And when I give it away, I'm helping other people understand the value that they brought to me. The chef, the waiter, the staff. I was just on a business trip, and when I left the hotel room, I I only saw the cleaning lady, right? Room service or whatever in the hallway. And she was very nice and she said hi, whatever. I know that she is going to do a good job when I'm done. I make my bed even though I'm in the hotel room every day. It's just a habit, right? But I also left her money. I left her a nice tip and I said to her, because it seemed like she was Spanish, so I put in Spanish, I put gracias, which means thank you. And I also wrote it in English because I did not want her to think that I only thought she was Spanish, right? So, but for me, it's always about the love of money. You have to understand that my personal belief is that there's energy behind money. There's this continuity that has to happen. I have to give it and share it so I can get more of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I really think that's an important piece of it. And the other piece of it too is how quickly does money flow through your hands? So keep some of it.
Oh, yes.
So to be able to retain money is a skill, right? It's also something that we're taught. It comes in, it goes out right away. Like we don't, it's good to spend and consume and move it, but also retain it and know that what you're spending on is something. There's a very big difference between wants and needs. So obviously our needs are our needs, but our wants are also important, right? They bring us happiness, clarity, sharing, all the rest of that impact. But having the ability to retain wealth and money doesn't always mean wealth, doesn't always mean money, right? Being able to retain amounts of money so that it's not flowing so quickly that you can't hold on to it. And I see that all the time with my clients, right? So you need to be able to hold on to it in a way that is going to serve you and others. So that is also a piece of it. And I think because we are in a society where we're such consumers that it moves so quickly that we've lost that ability a lot of the time to understand the value of I don't like the word holding on, but retaining money so that it can be used for other valuable things. Like, does that make sense?
It does. I actually like that word retaining money. It's the first hearing retain and money put together. When I think of retain, I think of retaining water weight, but the retaining money, I like that. And, when you were talking, I remembered the, one belief I heard, which is, money comes in one hand and out the other, which can ignite this feeling of fear that you're going to lose it. And we were talking earlier about how important it is about how you feel around money. So rewriting those narratives and changing the feeling is important.
Yeah, I really, 100%. I believe that. And the narratives that we've been taught, and it's mostly as younger children, because our parents brought us up with their ideals and their values and, and they did the best they could. It doesn't necessarily mean they were in a good place. They're just giving you what they've got. And so the beauty of being a human being is being able to rewrite those narratives to suit you. And you were right. You're right. There's a lot of fear around, well, what if I do that? Is someone going to judge me for it? Is my world going to come crashing down? Well, actually nothing. What's going to happen is you're going to give it back to them. So now you have all this space to create massive wealth that, with things that are not holding you back anymore. And, when we connect to our intuition and allow those things to come in. And the other piece that I think is really important is being in the question of things and not needing an answer. So ask the questions out there. And, you both mentioned this before. So one of the questions I asked is, what else is possible here? Right. And so it was really interesting because this week I had a call from someone who I know, and we've been kind of working together. He's been holding off on me and I wasn't sure what was going on. He's a billionaire. And he finally sent me a message and he said, I'm ready to work with you now. I watched you speak on the weekend and that's the piece that was missing. Now, I wasn't sure how this was all going to play out. And the point isn't that situation, but I was willing to have whatever showed up. So I encourage people to receive money
We're,
however it shows up,
we
because what happens
we
as
lost you a
human
little bit,
beings is we have
Laura.
this
We
very
lost you for a little bit.
spirals, right?
Yeah.
So be open to the possibility of what could be. I think that's a great way to be.
Just so you know, we lost you in part of that, so we kind of lost the full context of what
I'm
you were
sorry.
saying. I know that the internet is
Yeah,
not,
so it's the last
the
part.
friendliest
Yeah,
place.
for sure. The last part is sometimes we have a very narrow view of how things can come in. And when they don't, then we get upset and things start to spiral down. So it's giving up those, not quite the structure, but the belief that, I must have the money or the wealth this way, because it literally never shows up that way. You have to be open to the possibility of how it's going to show up. And that puts a lot of trust in a lot of things that is not necessarily comfortable for people.
Mm.
Yeah.
One of
makes
the
me
things.
Sifu.
Go ahead. No, after you, please.
I was just going to say, while Laura was talking, I thought of that sounds like when people might think that it has to come in a certain way, it made me
Right.
think of one-dimensional thinking, which can stunt us. And then I thought of, if it's like if you have a hose and you squeeze a piece of it, you cut off the supply of the water so it can't flow. So when we think money has to come in a certain way, we're cutting off the flow or the supply from other avenues that it's like ready and waiting to come into your life.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
When you talked about the billionaire needed to fully understand who you were, it just goes to show why he's a billionaire, right? He doesn't just partner or have someone in their sphere who's just anybody, right? So he brings people who are going to make a difference in his life. So he's being smart about it. One of the people I want to bring right now is Fong. I think he had a little bit of trouble coming on. So Fong, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here with us, my friend.
Hi.
Hey, sorry about that. Thank you. Thanks
That's
for having
okay. Absolutely. You're both in Canada, so no wonder you guys are having trouble with the internet.
Rogers
me.
are about
that, and then camera and whatnot. Anyway.
Well, you're both here, so thank you. So we've been having a discussion, obviously, about money and how even Laura said that a lot of people are their thought on money is based on what they learned when they were children. Money doesn't grow on trees. You're not going to ever make it. All these different things that people put these barriers. And I think what winds up happening, even if they get out of that understanding that money doesn't grow on trees, unless you have a tree that you can sell the fruit from, which now you got money, what winds up happening is that people put a ceiling on the amount of money they can possibly make. And they will never go above that because they don't think they're worthy of it.
right.
Go for it.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
are your thoughts on that?
I totally agree with that. I mean, I grew up in a family where we're very traditional. You work hard, you find a good job, you be in that job for the rest of your life, and you kind of just grow up learning money from your parents, and you learn how much you can potentially make based on what your parents are making. So for the longest time in my life, I was thinking, okay, what's that ceiling number? And I asked my dad, how much do you make? And then that was basically, okay, if I get there, I've made it. And then once I got there, I'm like, okay, now what? So it's one of those things that you never, if you don't surround yourself with other people who have an understanding of money, the way that allows you to bring more in or allows you to think of different avenues and different potentials of making money, then you'll never, ever think about it. You never tune into that frequency. So yeah, totally agree with that. And it wasn't until I started reading a lot of other books, connecting with different people, networking with people in business and entrepreneurship, that's when I realized, oh, wait, it's not just this one avenue. There's so many options out there. So it's pretty incredible what you can do when you're able to connect with more people.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I love how you met that ceiling and you go, wait a minute, there's room above that. I could go up. Right. And a lot of people they think, oh, I can't go above that. That's the ceiling. That's all I have. When you considered when you said now what, um, did you at that point understand that it's endless? There's abundance.
Well, at that point, I also realized that it's not enough. I realized that you could get more. So because I was already connected with a lot of people of different industries and also different backgrounds, I was able to set up more avenues, have real estate, have stocks, have crypto, have coaching businesses, have speaking businesses, all that kind of stuff, so that you realize, okay, you could do more. And then also, I was connected with coaches who would challenge me as well. So it's always unlimited. By that time, it was unlimited.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Well, we're all here coaches, right? And I'm sure you might have heard this, right? I don't like to call myself a coach necessarily. I like to call myself a trainer because I like training people. It's a passion. That's what the word Sifu means. It means teacher. So I like training people. I like teaching them concepts and ideas. And I'm sure we've all heard, how much are you? How much do you charge? Oh, wow, you're expensive. And the minute they say that, I can also automatically tell that they're not willing to go further up. They're not willing to understand their value as much. Because to me, listen, my coach, I have several coaches. One of my coaches, literally, wow, I don't even want to tell you how much he pays for his coach, but it's not thousands. I think he pays him over 100,000 a year. But guess what? That's why my coach is wealthy. And he doesn't mind because the value that he gets from his coach is huge. So what do I want to do? I want to elevate, but every time I can't elevate by myself. So I need somebody at a higher level. So you were right, Fong, when we have to hang around with people who have bigger dreams, bigger aspirations, and who are actually doing better things than we are. I believe that's the catalyst for growth, for that personal growth mastery that we're all talking about today.
Absolutely. I've seen the value of hanging around with different people, then if you always stay in the group of people that you always have, you'll stay at that level. When you want to rise above and be of a higher impact, you've got to surround yourself with those people and even just kind of get into their energy. Makes a big difference.
It sure does. You guys, you can openly just say whatever is on your mind. So remember, today is about wealth. And wealth is not necessarily financial. Mm-hmm. It's wealth of family, wealth of knowledge, wealth of what you do on a daily basis, right? The wealth that we have in our head is huge. And that wealth can bring financial wealth.
Yeah, for sure. I really feel that there are several levels to wealth. And a lot of the time, John Maxwell, like the 4 levels of wealth. So the first is money, then relationships, relationships, knowledge, and then your purpose. And it looks like a pyramid, right? And so if the bottom of your pyramid is not strong, it's not going to be able to support the other levels the way it should, right? So in my life, I had to go back and fix my money level. I had to go start having a different relationship with money. That, that was powerful. That was positive. That allowed me to scale and know how to get ourselves to that place. And so people are just kind of stuck where they are. I see that a lot. And so our job is to facilitate their growth if that's something they're willing to have. And that's the other thing that I want to mention. People need to want it, because no one can be pulled into that kind of thing because they're just not going to do the work to get there. And I'm sure, Fong, you've seen it with your clients as well as you, Nikki, and Sifu. I mean, I only work with people who want to move, and they may not know they want to move. That's the other thing until you have that conversation with them, right? And they're like, oh, yeah. So giving them the awareness around that gives them the choice to take action. And I think that that's really important, that people want to take action to have more wealth, because really it's just going to ripple out into the world, whatever they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to gamify this show a little bit. And this is how I want to do it. So because Laura's internet keeps going in and out, and we hear some of the words, I want everybody to guess the words that she's doing, because if we're listening to the content of what she's saying, we can actually put the words in there, and all of a sudden our mind, because of the wealth that we have, we can fill the gaps that we know that she's saying. So that's how I want to gamify this show for everybody today. And we should do that at all times, because sometimes it's not every word that we hear, but we can sometimes put the right words in. And thank you for helping us gamify this show, Laura.
I'm so sorry about my internet. Yeah.
No, don't be sorry. Listen, well, I'm just thrilled that you're here with us. Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah.
I think it's great. That's a great idea to have people put in the chat what they're hearing, because even if her internet wasn't going in and out and we heard every single word, everybody's going to hear something different based on their own filters. So then we can go in the comments later and engage and have a conversation and clarify.
Yeah, I love that.
I love engagement, right?
Yeah.
Think about the last podcast, the last movie you saw, the last book you read. What did you get out of it? And could you read a book, right? If I pick up this book, right? If I pick up this book and I start reading it, and then I go, oh man, I'd love to talk to this author. Wouldn't that be awesome? Because what did he mean on page 132? Wouldn't that be cool?
Yes.
Well, guess what? I have a new show coming up, and he's going to be my first guest, just in case you were wondering. So we are going to have that ability, but it doesn't always come to that, right? I have so many people who've written books, but if we are, I'm going to put it to you this way. If we see a show like this one, we're putting their links up. Like if you wanted to reach out to me, you can just go here. If you wanted to reach out to Fong, you can go to his website. You wanted to reach out to Laura, you can go to her website. You wanted to go to Nikki, you can go. But we're not doing that. So the reason we put it across is because this conversation does not have to end with this show.
Right.
And I'm glad you brought that up, Nikki, because that's such a valid point. Because if you heard something here, if Laura said something that triggered something in you, you need to reach out to her. If Fong said something, you need to reach out to him. If Nikki said something, you're like, man, I need to understand what she meant. This is where true engagement can come in. So this is where we're trusting that you will want to learn and grow as a human being, and reaching out to people on a Facebook post or whatever and say, what was your post all about? Right. So I just wanted to, that's how we gamify this, our life, if you will. Let's have fun. Life is to live.
That's right.
If I could add to that, I totally agree with that. Connecting with people is so important. And when you were talking about how many, it's not just financial wealth. There's health wealth. There's relationship wealth. There's knowledge wealth. It's all those kind of things. And the thing is, everything that anybody wants to know, wants to have wealth in, somebody else has it out there already. All you really need to do is reach out and ask, hey, how did you do that? And surround yourself with that group of people. If you want to have good health mindset, then you put yourself in a group of people who has good health mindset. If you want to be in a group of have great financial literacy, put yourself in a group of people who has good financial literacy. And you may have lots of different groups. And the key is to get lots of great information and knowledge and wealth from each group and build yourself into the person that you want to be. But to Laura's point, until you really take action, until you really reach out and connect with those people, until you realize that you want to make that change or you really want to grow, that won't happen. So it really stems from you first and then go and connect. So important.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Good point that it starts with you on the inside first. And then you can attract those people into your life that can help you get to your next level of wealth, whether it's relationships, time, freedom, wealth of health, or money.
Yeah, I would encourage people to ask themselves 3 questions. Like, what do you want to change in your life? What do you want to change in your business? And what kind of impact do you want to make? Like, ask yourself those questions, because what may happen a lot of the time is you have a good why, but your why is made up of your purpose and your drive. So maybe one of those 2 things is not quite aligned where it needs to be. And that's a good starting point for people who want to scale their wealth or, all the things that you just mentioned. But until that is aligned, then you're just going to keep working really hard, throwing spaghetti at the wall. And then you're just going to get tired and worn out. And we don't want that. We want to live a life of fulfillment and happiness where you're making a large amount of money, because then you can make the impact you're looking for and help so many other people, which is the goal here. So really, they have good purpose, but they don't know why they get up in the morning. They don't know what their drive is. And so once those 2 things are connected, your whole life can change very, very quickly.
And it's interesting that once you start asking yourself those questions that Laura talked about, all of a sudden your mind starts tuning into that frequency, and you can't help but notice those things. You can't help but notice, hey, wait a minute, that might answer my question. Oh, wait a minute, that might help with this other question. So it's the thing is, once you tune your mind into that frequency, everything's out there. And it's amazing what happens when you tune yourself into those frequencies, because those opportunities are always out there for you to grow. So it's very cool.
Yeah, I love that. Activate that reticulator activating system, right? Like, get everything showing up right in front of your face.
Yeah,
beautiful.
That's exactly what I was thinking about, that new car effect, where you start seeing the make and model and color of your new car everywhere on the road.
Yeah.
You know why they sell those little things that you hang on your window, right? I mean, on your mirror of your car. And some of them are called new car smell. Because you can have an ugly, dirty car, but you can get that smell, Nikki. So it doesn't matter. So we can still, even if we're not there yet, we can have the mindset of, hey, you know what? I'm driving this jalopy. And it's not that I want that guy's car, because I don't know what problems he has, but I want a car like it. I want my own car. And then the other thing that, Laura, you talked about throwing spaghetti on the wall. I'm not going to tell people not to do that, because as long as you can clean it up afterwards, it may just be fun. And maybe, you know what? You start throwing spaghetti on the wall, it could be fun, but don't forget, you got to clean it up. And could you have eaten the spaghetti, right? Maybe it was disgusting. I don't know. But the whole thing is, for every action that you take, there's going to be a reaction, a repercussion. Something's going to happen. So if you decide that I can't drive that car because I can't afford it. But if you get a spray or a little thing that hangs and it gives you that new car smell, then you're going to get into your old jalopy and say, I can smell it already. I know one day, because I'm going to keep working at it, I'm going to be, I don't have to spray my car anymore. It's actually going to be that new car smell. And therefore, I'm setting myself up for success.
Right.
Even though I get into this ugly car today, right?
I love that analogy and also that mindset, and it also kind of talks about the fact that not only do we have to tune into the right frequency, but we also have to get ourselves out of the wrong frequency. So by masking the smell and not focusing on the outside of the car, you're taking that negative out of your mindset. So for people out there who are surrounded with people who are negative, who are always seeing that having news affect them too much and all that kind of stuff, then maybe tune that frequency out, turn off the news, go do something else, go take a walk when people are complaining and stuff like that. Go focus on something or change the subject. Whatever it is, don't have that negativity come in, put on that new car smell and do something else. Like, you don't have to focus on it.
Fong, you just gave me an amazing idea. I think I want to create a cologne that's going to say wealth.
Success.
It's going to be rich. And anybody that I walk by that has all this negativity, I'm going to go
spray.
I'm going to spray them. So all of a sudden they speak differently. Or maybe I can hit the mute button, and say, stop talking, and then change the way they're talking. Instead of the negativity, they can go, wouldn't that be amazing if we can do that? So we don't
amazing. Yeah.
We don't necessarily have to get rid of the people, but we can help them reframe where they are, right? And sometimes, sometimes it's a family member that we have to go, I hope I don't have to see you till next Christmas or next Thanksgiving. And sometimes that's what we wind up doing, right? We have people in our lives that they're in our lives not because by choice, but because of association, if you will. Sometimes you'll go to a friend's house, but they have a really terrible friend, and that friend is always talking negative, and you're like, oh my gosh, tell me when your friend's not going to be here so I can visit you again. Of course, you're not going to say that because it's going to make them think that, oh, am I making bad choices and you don't accept me for that? Yeah. So we have to be careful how we navigate. But like you said, we can do that for ourselves. Could we change somebody else's way of speaking or the way they think? Not really, but maybe our actions can let them see the light that they're missing.
Yeah, I love that.
Mm-hmm. And that's one thing we could take responsibility for is we can, and something that I'm doing is I'm starting to compile some questions, just general questions that I can ask somebody. Because if you talk with that one person that always talks about the same thing that's going on and it tends to be negative, and you stay quiet and just let them, it's like, well, what else do you expect? But if you could move their attention maybe onto the new car smell, that's just as an analogy that Sifu was saying, then the conversation has the potential to go in a different direction. So we can take responsibility and help change the conversation.
And like Fong said, sometimes you may have to just remove yourself from it in a polite way. We don't want to be rude. Listen, Uncle John, he's a great guy, but man, every time I'm around him, all of a sudden I'm depressed. Maybe I have to go in there knowing that he may be making me depressed, but I have to come in with a brighter energy, brighter source of who I am, and then understand who he is. So maybe I do have to see him at Thanksgiving. And then, it's like, okay, that was okay. Maybe I talked to Aunt Mary, who's a little bit more positive. And so we have to choose our battles sometimes, right? Because we don't need to fight with Uncle Johnny, because he may just be a sweet old man who's just is not fully present.
And to the point that Sifu Rafael said that we can't change how people are, but we can impact how they want to interact with us. So for instance, when you said, hey, I don't want to talk to Uncle Johnny because he's negative, that's how they impacted you. The aunt impacted you in a mindset that every time I talk to her, you want to be positive. Same with myself. I know that the people in this chat right now are high energy people. And therefore, knowing that they're all high energy people, I'm going to show up with high energy. So if you start interacting with people with positivity, with high energy, with what do you call it, opportunistic mindset, then other people who know that they're coming on to see you or chat with you, they go, oh wait, this person is somebody I need to up my game with. And all of a sudden, the next person jumping into that group, it goes, oh wow, these people have high energy, I need to up my game. And all of a sudden, everybody that joins your group has high energy, has high opportunistic ideas and whatnot. So you could indirectly impact how people are by simply being the person you want to be and giving that out to the world. So it's very amazing. It's cool. It's a cool effect, because I think there's lots of studies out there where you see that other people start matching the group. And those studies are pretty cool.
For me, I'm a little bit different. Sorry, Dave. Sorry.
Okay, you're good now. I see your head shaking.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah. Well, I just kind of wanted to add to what Fong was saying there. I'm a little bit more direct, and I will say, depending on the person, do you realize every time we interact that you're negative? And I just wanted you to be aware of that, because I know that that's not your true nature. Right. And it actually, I mean, I've done it to my husband, because he doesn't even realize sometimes. Right. And so he really makes an effort to be positive. And I've seen him completely shift because of it, and other people. Now, that may not work for some people, obviously, because maybe they see it as a criticism, or you're trying to, it just depends. You have to use your intuition to, does it feel good to say this to this person? Will they actually hear me in a way that is positive? And will they have the awareness? So I think, sometimes being direct for me is also a way to get people to shift very quickly. So there was one lady who kept approaching me on social media about selling me her stuff, but it was always like, how are you doing today? Did you get all that?
I think we fully, no. But she kept approaching you. That's all as far as we got. And then that was mystery.
Yeah,
I loved
it. Approaching me, and okay. So I'll just get it out before this happens again. So she kept trying to sell me something. She'd say, how are you? And then I knew what was coming. She would go to pitch me. And I said to her after like the 5th time, I'm like, are you aware that every time you contact me, it's to sell me something? And I said, and she goes, actually, no, I wasn't. I really appreciate you letting me know that. And I said, well, how are you doing? And then we had an actual conversation that didn't involve anything with her business. Right. And she said, thank you. I really appreciate that feedback, because sometimes when we're on automatic, because that's what we've learned, like just what, Fong was saying earlier, like, so to get out of that habit or that thing where we're not doing the automatic thing that we may be unaware of that may be negative, and shifting it into a higher awareness, which is a higher energy level, and that, is going to boost their emotional intelligence as well.
Yeah, I love that. Sometimes if I know somebody, I will say, are you cranky? And then with a smile again, are you cranky today? And all of a sudden they get defensive. Well, no, I'm not cranky. Why are you saying that? I say, I'm just busting your chops because you the way you're talking to me or whatever. And then all of a sudden it makes them check themselves, right? So sometimes if we know somebody, we can say silly things like that. Like the last time I said that to somebody, they truly went on the defense. And I said, I didn't mean for you to go on the defense. I said, but it was just the way you were acting. And they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize it. I said, yeah, I realized that you didn't say it. That's why I said that, right? Are you cranky? And then smile afterwards.
Right.
I got to tell you what a great conversation we've had so far. Unfortunately, it has come to that time that we're ending the show. I'd love to give you guys each 30 to 45 seconds to go ahead and share what you do and what somebody can expect when they reach you. So we're going to put your website across. Fong, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So really, I enjoy adding value and impacting as many people as I can. And if it's with regards to mindset stuff, with regards to how to start writing books, how to do podcasts, that's something I love doing and helping people out with. So usually starts with a good conversation, get to know each other and see where that goes. But always love adding value. So that's what I do.
Yeah. And then Laura, you're up.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to get in before the internet goes again. So I am a 3-time world champion martial artist, and I help high achievers, women CEOs to reach the next level of wealth in their life so that they can scale and build their life to where they're making the impact they're looking for. And I really work on several different levels, not just the money level, because it's so integrative that there are lots of things that affect how we think of wealth, how we build it, and how we make the impact we're looking for in our lives. So please reach out to me just to have a conversation. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you both for being here. And then Nikki, of course, you're an exceptional human being. Tell us.
Thank you, Sifu. So I'm Nikki Gangemi, personal trainer for your mind, helping high achievers to rewrite those scripts and have more creative control over their lives. We don't have to play a victim of our past. We can change it all and start being the leading role, really, the leading role that you want to play of your life. And it can happen very quickly. So I would love to connect with you.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm Sifu Rafael. What can I say? I love meeting people. I love connecting. One of the things that I also love is helping people with their communication skills. So I have a company, it's called Speaking Prowess, and at Speaking Prowess, we help individuals, organizations master their communication skills for greater confidence in the way they speak, the clarity, and the impact. We do that through training, workshops, and we help you enhance your communication skills no matter where you are in the world. And we do this worldwide. We have clients in all parts of the world. So we do that one voice at a time. And it should be your voice next. Thank you. What a great conversation we had today. Thank you, guys. And listen, the internet cannot hold you down. So we love we love the fact that you showed up no matter what, right? And think about what you listened and heard today and share it with friends and family. And we're talking to anybody who maybe you've seen this on a replay. It's okay to still share afterwards. Go to our YouTube channel, check it out on Facebook, everybody here. Reach out to them. Your life is going to change, but you need to be the change that makes it happen. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.